sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
What's up, man? You on mute, brother? Mute. You on mute. Audio. You on mute, good brother. Hey, DVP left, man. Where'd DVP go? We're gonna wait till he get back, y'all. His show, he the host. He left. He gonna come back. I guess while we're waiting, what y'all want to talk about? Throw something in the chat, man. Let's just chop it up till he come back. Nobody throw nothing in there. Let's do it. Tone low style. You should have played some music or something. Man, DVP. What's wrong with Gremlin? Oh man, you got me, brother. Yeah. You what do you think is wrong with him? Good evening. Good evening. I don't even know how to say that. C Smile Hickman. Good evening. How you doing? We're waiting for DVP to log back on. He had technical difficulties. Bad politics. About them Tigers. Man, I don't even know. This must be the wrong show, man. This is a sports program show right here. All right. I'm going to log off too then. And then log back on when DVP come. All right, y'all. Let's see here.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, don't be trying to log on, brother. I need you.
I didn't know.
What's up?
I didn't know it was the right show. That's all sports, man. Look at all them sports over there.
Hold on, now I'm getting crazy echo. Let's see if I can delete this one.
There's a lot of sports over there. You sure this the right show?
All right, give me a second. I'm trying to delete one of me. Now, what's going on with this? All right, anyway. Do you hear echo more?
I can hear you.
No, do you hear echo? I hear echo. Wow, let me just.
It's not too bad. I hear a little one, small one, but not much.
Man, it's going crazy over here.
Let's see if I got let me check on my side, see if I got, do I sound like an echo?
Well, everything sounds like echo on my end, so I won't know if I know it's me.
Oh, okay, got you.
Because I think I'm on two cameras, it's doing it. And I don't know why I can't get rid of this one. Ain't you got control? Can you kick me off the screen that says device doing it? And I don't know why I can't get rid of it.
Oh, okay, let me see here. I know what it is.
Ain't you got control? The screen that says device doing it. And I don't know why I can't get rid of it.
Oh, okay, let me see here.
The screen that says device doing it. And I don't know why I can't get rid of it.
Oh, okay, let me see here. Got some technical difficulties, y'all.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I don't think I hear echo right now. I don't know why I didn't pick it up on speaker. All right,
You sure this is the right show? Why they talking about all that sports in the?
probably because it went to my JBN.
Oh, okay, got you.
And part of the thing is,
Oh, I see.
you know, that's what he does, the sports thing. But anyway, welcome to the show. I'm gonna cut mine down so I can get rid of this echo. Hey, first of all, I just want to say thank y'all for watching. I see a lot of y'all coming from YouTube, and maybe that's why y'all pick up the My JBN. But it shouldn't have just been My JBN. It should have been a sports channel. Maybe I did something wrong. On the record, tell me later. Let's see. This is crazy with this echo. So anyway, the title of this show is Target, and More. Because I want to talk about Target. We're going to talk about Target. It's a little play on words. But while I got Mo here, we're going to talk about Target being a target.
Oh man.
Because this is one of the questions I have, and I'm going to let you have the floor. It looks like, to the casual observer, that Target stock is going down. But was this jumping on a dying horse and acting like you killed it? Was it already going down? What was going on? You know, it's like, it's a good phrase. It's kind of like fighting a down man. It don't matter if he died, you know. Did you win the ring? Did you win? So Tiff, go ahead.
Oh no. You did you ask me a question? Because you kind of chopping up a little.
Oh, all right. So,
that's clear.
If people think Target is really losing money, has Target always been losing money, and this is just they jumped on at the right time? Okay, so you hit a feedback too. All right, so I'm gonna let you have this one, and I'm trying to figure what's going on my audio. But did Jamal jump on Target at the right time while I was already thinking, and he really ain't do no damage? It was already going downhill.
Hey man, say that one more time. It kind of choppy a little bit, like you said. But go ahead, say it one more time. I'm gonna see if I can get it this time.
Was Target doing good before the boycott, or
No.
did Jamal jump on the dying horse?
It was not doing good. In fact, you know, when I do the analysis, you could just throw up the slide. But it was not doing good, and it's still, in my opinion, it's still not doing good. All right, so here it is right here. So I'm gonna just go through this real quick while DVP checks his stuff out. But this is, you know, we got one dissenting opinion in the group about how Target stock is doing, and so I'm just going by data. This ain't got nothing to do with how I feel. This ain't got nothing to do with Mo likes Target, Mo dislikes Target. This is data, folks. This is Target stock, and their stock. A company's stock will tell you everything about that company. All right, so if we look at this graph, anybody can go get this graph. It's not no special graph. If you go on Google and you put in Google Target stock, this is what you're gonna see right here. All right, and so I put this together so I could kind of step through the process, because people are saying that the boycott was successful. The quote unquote boycott was successful. And I let the data speak for itself. So here's the details. If you started the most left of the stock, that looks like that was probably about January, right? January somewhere. Stock was about $160 per share. You can kind of see that, right? It's between 140 and 160, about $160 per share. All right. Then we follow the graph, and then blam, it drops down to $120 per share. Now, you could do you just use Google for all this stuff. Go do some research. You can find out what happened to Target stock around November 2024, and it'll tell you what happened. All right. So in the finance world, in the world of stocks, if you have a disappointing quarter, if you have like, there's a lot of factors that can go into why your stock would drop. But in this case, this was their Q3, quarter three, which is November 2024. their stock dropped $40. So for all the investors, that's disappointing. For the company and for the investors, that's disappointing. So you can see it says this was a disappointing Q3 in November 2024. So that stock dropped, man. So what that means is if you own that stock, it was worth $160 at some point, and then it dropped all the way down to $120. So you lost $40 per share. Okay, so if you had 100 shares, you lost $400. That don't make nobody happy. All right. So then we see, all right, Target try to make a little comeback, right? It keeps moving, try to make a little comeback, and then all of a sudden, got this ski slope, head south, plow, right? And so once you get to the bottom of that little ski slope, that circle right there is where this quote unquote boycott occurred in March of 2025. And that's where it occurred. Okay. And so what we're looking at there is that's the start point. That's the start point. Now follow the graph from that start point. It actually kind of goes up, kind of rises a little. It went down to below 100. Then it kind of rises back up to above 100. And then it drops back down to about $50 per share. So it did some kind of wild thing over there. But the point is this, based on data, not how I feel, not what I want to happen, but based on data, it looks like that quote unquote boycott has done absolutely nothing, really has done nothing. Because and the reason why I'm saying that is because at the beginning in April 2025, that value is the exact same value at the end past August 2025. Y'all can see that, right? You could draw a straight line right across, right? And the only thing that happened is it went up some and then it came back down. So for all financial related purposes, Target stock has not been impacted by this quote unquote boycott based on those dates. Now, don't take my word for it. I tell you, don't take my word for it. Go do your own research. Take this slide, photocopy it, go find where I'm wrong, come back to the show, or if we're still on the show, come back, say, Mo, you had that all wrong, brother. This is actually what happened. And we'll listen and we'll try to figure out what happened. Well, that's the story right there, and based on what the stock tells us. Okay, whatever the news is saying, I can't help with that. You know, y'all know the news is a propaganda machine anyway, but there's no data to kind of, so that way we can kind of certify news. But with the stock, that's certifiable. I can go online, anybody can go online and get the data. So that's what it is.
And what happens is, even when the news will give you current stuff, the news doesn't give you a history so you can make a determination about what it is. That's why they hire people to come back and do that. So, you know, part of the reason I wanted to do this is because unfortunately sometimes we need a reality check. Can you hear me, Mo?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Sometimes we need a reality check. And you know, I'm seeing people bragging about, you know, what the boycott is doing, what's doing. And then, you know, I did a quick little something. Oh, and by the way, let me throw out this disclaimer. If you got, he ain't got his own show yet on MSNBC, but if you want to know stock tips for the layman, join one of Mo groups and we talk, and he talks about stocks and getting into it and understanding things and how you can start off and work your way up. Because I did. That's why this was interesting to me. So what happens is it's like with anything else. Sometimes we believe so much in ourselves that we will deny the truth. We will deny an uncomfortable truth and settle for a feel-good lie. So, you know, I seen people patting, you know, Jamal on, oh, he did a good job. He doing this. And something just told me to look at something. And I didn't know the real answer. So I reached out to Mo and asked him for some data. Because it looks like even before COVID, Target wasn't doing good. And y'all know how long ago COVID was. So I wanted Mo to just do his thing and put a face to it, because I think Jamal jumped on a dying horse. So he saw the horse was dying. He let me jump on this and tell people, because if you don't know stocks, you don't know how to tell it's dying, because we see this Target still open, but they're cutting back on stuff. They're cutting back on stuff. They're cutting back on stuff. And to me, that's always the first sign when people are losing money. They start cutting back, because when you're making money, you ain't cutting back. You get more stuff in. And even though I've said, excuse me, I've said some good things about why we should shop at Target. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't be a Target shopper simply because of the prices. And I'm a firm believer in trying to support my people. But my people have to be doing some competitive numbers. I'm not going to support my people just to say I can, and we on the brink of a recession and lose out on money just so I can say I'm supporting my people. To me, that's tantamount to insanity. So Target has always been a little overpriced to me. They got a couple of good things, but for the most part, when you do side by side, Target just doesn't compare to Walmart for me. So.
Yeah. And let me add this. Oh, go ahead, D.
No, do you think?
I just want to add this. One thing to think about here is this. I'm not sure how much that boycott was communicated or how well it was communicated, but Target is all over the United States, So if let's say half of the country participated in this quote unquote boycott, they probably won't make any damage because Target is across the entire United States. So you got to take that into account as well. This is a huge company. Unless something on a global scale occurs, you're probably not going to have much impact on, unless you do let's say a countrywide boycott, which I don't think that one day boycott was countrywide at all. I don't think it was well put together. I don't think they had a good spokesperson. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. But, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I don't think it was well publicized. If you think about the boycotts that happened in the past, they were well organized. They had it set up so well that even when people needed rides to work, they were able to work together to get them a ride to work. When they did the bus boycott, they were able to feed people. They were able to supplement people's salary. That's what I call a boycott. Now this is a microwave. We're in the microwave society. I understand that. And so things are done a little differently. So I'm aware of that. But what I can tell you is one day of loss, even a week, even maybe even a month of loss for a global company or for a company that's across the United States, it's probably not going to hurt them at all. Not much at all.
And even when it does, like I said, it was already sinking. and if we're being honest, and that's kind of what we try to do on the show, where our money matters most, where we have the most influence, in my opinion, and I'm gonna let Mo say on this, is in our neighborhoods. If we spend more money supporting businesses in our neighborhoods, see, that's where it really matters, because then they could come in. I'm gonna forever be a fan of strip malls and us learning how to get people in strip malls at a good price. If we start doing group economics, and then we can do a little bit more with the price control, because it would make more sense for us as a collective to buy a strip mall and then get businesses in there that don't have to pay exorbitant rents to somebody else to support us. So if we bought the strip mall and made it so that we were not to make major profit, we could rent it out for a lower price, and then their prices could be lower. But for them to try to do a shop here and a shop there, and you still rent from somebody who ain't in the neighborhood, don't care nothing about the neighborhood. Once you can support your own businesses in your neighborhood, in your community, because as y'all talk about what everybody else do, that's what everybody else do. When you go to Chinatown, you don't see people from Chinatown at the mall unless it's something they just can't get in their neighborhood. When you go to where these Jewish communities, any communities where a group of people is known to cohabitate, you don't see them leaving their community for a lot. They shop inside the community. That's where their money goes. But guess what? That's where the shop owners are too. I know a lot of y'all got shops, but they're not in your neighborhood. So in theory, when somebody comes to your shop, you're not doing nothing for their neighborhood because you're taking their money and taking it back to your neighborhood. You're not spending money there. So we got to learn how to make group economics and all these things work for us, and stop being a slave to misinformation. we talked about this a little bit last week. Numbers will always lie if you don't know how to read numbers, because you can make them say whatever you want to say. Because the truth is, since Jamal did his thing, Target is losing money. That is a truth. But the real truth is Target was losing money before he even stepped in. So what did he contribute to that? They were already losing. And it hit me when that dude got fired. That couldn't have been off of no one quarter. That had to have been something that was sustained over time.
Right.
Because every business, and COVID should have taught us, every business is built to lose money at some time. And major business can lose money for a quarter or two. And some of them can lose money for a year or two, because if we were smart and we paid attention, which we don't, you think that a business is losing money could be given a $2-3 million bonus to its executives? That tells you right there that they're making money.
Yeah.
Because most of these CEOs, their bonuses are more than their annual salary. So that should tell you something. Every time we hear that BS about gas this and gas that those every year we've heard about gas being, why gas costs so much. Every single year we've heard about the gas execs getting record bonuses. Make that make sense. How could they get, if gas went up, then their bonuses should have went down because of the overhead. But every year gas went up, the bonuses went up. So why do you think gas went up? Yep. So we have to stop being a slave to what people tell us to try to sway us into believing something that ain't true. and that's, to me, that's one of the big ones. We talked about it before when everybody supposedly start watching football. And this is not an indictment on what you choose to do, but when we start watching football, look at the numbers again. Football revenue took off. So all that we thought we were doing by saying we ain't going or we ain't watching, it didn't affect nothing with them. Not a thing. So we got to understand realistically when and where our money has the most impact. And again, I'm going to say, and I'm going to let Mo say, I think we have the most impact in our own neighborhoods, because we can sustain mom and pop shops if that's what we want to do. If we get over this fascination with making rich people richer, we can sustain our own neighborhoods.
Yeah, no, I 195, 200% agree, because the way I kind of interpret what DVP is talking about is that's family versus community. Okay, now if you do something in your family, that's not necessarily going to impact your community, right? You in your house with your people it's not going to affect your community. But if you do it in a community, it's going to affect it may affect other community members. And so that's the difference between how, we need to do, handle this business piece of it, right? We want to first we have to get the family level together, right? We should all be buying from certified Black businesses, right? If you're a Black person, you should be buying from a certified Black business. Maybe it's not possible right now, but this would be the end game. The end goal is to buy, all of us buying from certified Black businesses, right? And so all of the money that is still going to go outside. Don't be fooled to think that because it's a Black business, the money is not going outside the Black business. It's going to, because we right now we don't have an infrastructure that is 100% Black. The products got to come from somewhere. The real estate, we have to pay somebody for the rent or for the ownership of the property. Maybe there's a mortgage, who knows, right? So there's always going to be something going outside the community. But the point is this: we need to have a majority of the money stay within the community, or moving back and forth between us Black folks. Because right now, what it does is when you spend your money, it immediately goes outside your community, outside your space, is gone. Now somebody got to work to get it back, right? And so this concept, it's debatable on this concept whether or not it's going to revolutionize and change everything. However, my preference, and I only can talk about me, my preference is that I would like to have, I know, I lived in Boston for some time. Guess what Boston got, folks? Boston got a Chinatown. Where the hell is the Black town or Africa town? We don't have one. And so just think about the economics associated with Chinatown. The Chinese people all have a space. They carved out a space where they got businesses. They buy from each other. They have a community environment that is also a business environment, and it's right actually really close to where they live too. A lot of them live in Chinatown, and so that's a self-contained economic space. I for the life of me, man, I don't know where Black folks got that at. I just don't know if it even exists. But that's one of the things I think we should aspire to do, because even at a grassroots level, I think it'll help some, but until we get to a certain level, it's not going to be as effective as we want it to be. But we got to start somewhere, and I'm saying that's a place to start.
Well, and again, as the show talks about, we keep talking about targets, and we don't realize when we're being targeted. And I'm gonna give you an example. And I really don't care how y'all feel about this, because you can't whoop my ass. But I'm gonna take the NFL. I see all these people talking about they're gonna go to the Sanders website and buy Shedeur Sanders jersey so the NFL don't get paid. Well, that's cute, but Shedeur Sanders is already a millionaire. So again, we seem to have a fascination with making millionaires more millions. But we won't help the other brothers who doing this. Why don't we buy jerseys for the football teams in our neighborhood? I mean, we sitting here, I hear people talking about how good Rihanna's stuff is. Rihanna's a millionaire. What's the fascination with making millionaires richer while your brother is not there? And again, I understand part of the concept. And I'm in 80% agreement with most said about buying from certified Black businesses. I want you to buy from certified Black businesses that show that they're doing something for the community.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Black businesses, they just as bad. They want you to buy from them simply because they're Black. They got no customer service. They got no product. And as we talked about 3 or 4 shows ago, a lot of them don't even know nothing about what's going on. But understand the difference is more with saying, I have a security company. You know who works for my security company? I got 5 employees. Theoretically, all of them are relatives. That money stays in the family. We go other places and work. And that's not the type of, and that's just, it is what it is, because I run a security company. But when you got a company, somebody wants to open a business in a Black neighborhood, it's beauty shops, support them, especially if their prices are competitive with the other places you got to go to. But this is where we have to be a little bit smarter sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to stick to this. Mo talked about buying real estate. If we got together in mass and bought real estate, let's just say, again, the strip mall is just my favorite thing. There's a strip mall that will hold 15 businesses. So if these 15 businesses get together, equity ain't equality. And they put their money together, and they could buy this building together. Now they can control their rent, because all of them contributing to it. Everybody can have something, so they don't have to pay somebody else who's trying to make a profit off the rent. Because if they're already the owners, there's no profit to be made. They just want the building so they can sell things at prices that are competitive with other places. Because it still makes no sense to buy a loaf of bread from Mo for $4.50 when Walmart is selling that same loaf of bread for $2.25. We can't be stupid with our money, because that just doesn't make sense. But if Walmart is selling it for $2.25, if Mo can sell it for $2.40, $2.50, then we can still do it with him, And that's why I have a problem with some Black business in general, because they want you to support their bad decision making, because you want to be in a nicer building, you want to be wherever. So now you got to charge me more than this, and I got to drive to you. Well, that's not good economics. And at the end of the day, this is still about good economics, because there's no getting around the fact that the dollar doesn't go as far. Everything costs a whole lot more. We're getting a whole lot less. So it's asinine to ask somebody who is barely making it to support a Black business that is charging too much for their pocket. So we gotta do better as a group.
And you know what? This what you were saying, DVP, leads me to. I want to put this statement out there because so that people know. But what I get from what DVP just said is that the business community, Black business community, should be operating almost like stock. And here's what I mean by that: a business that if you have investment in a business, you care about the business, right? If I got all these little, we got a bunch of these little places where we can go get food, little Black places where we can go get food, where we can go get our hair cut, where we can go get our women go get their hair done, etc. Right? So we got all these little spaces, right? And at the end of the line, those folks are paying most likely some white person. They're paying some white person because they're the property owner, and that's just the way it works, right? That's the business model. But one thing I'll say is this: we should try to all work together, because when you work together, then the money and the economics stay within our group. So let's try to support each other, and like I said, so what happens is the money that you have to pay, and this is one thing I actually experienced. The money I have to pay the property owner is so high. This is another thing business owners got to deal with. The money is so high. Guess what? I'm not in business to lose money. So I got to pass that on to you, right? And you're the Black person, you show up, you're like, hey man, why your stuff costs so much? I can go down the street and get that same thing for this amount of money. And I'm like, yeah, you could. And that's usually a fact, because somebody can the small businessman can be priced out very easily because of the fact that they have such a high overhead, So it's got to come down to loyalty, right? You got to say, hey man, look, I want to buy Black. They give me the best quality. They give me the best service. When I go in this restaurant, man, I get treated great, right? And the food is always top-notch quality. People treat me with respect. You know what I mean? If I'm $10, $5 short, it's cool. They let me pay next time I come. Anything like that. That's what we call goodwill. Our businesses need to really. The only way we're going to get a foot up on the white businesses is to have goodwill, and that means good product. That means good service, and whatever else good people look for. Good, you should feel good when you come to my store. I want you to feel good. I want you to leave with a good feeling. I want you to have good products. I want you to tell people about them. But a lot of us, because like I said, I was a business owner, so I know the struggle. And it's like, man, I'm struggling to make rent, man. So I can't give you no break. I can't do all these nice little feely stuff. But somewhere, we got to implement it. We got to get it done, so that way our people start coming to us. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be going nowhere. I know, like, New York is a melting pot, right? I'm going to use New York, for example. New York's a melting pot. And so I went up there one time, man. I went in a soul food restaurant. They got Asians in there. They got, all kind of different people in there working in the restaurant. And it just blew my mind, man. I'm thinking, hold on, it's soul food, man. How I never seen that, because I'm, where I was from, I never seen that. It's only Black people cook soul food. But New York is a little different. And so the point is, people can learn what we do and do it better than us. I mean, we see that all the time, right? They did it with music. They do it with, whatever you can think of, they do it. So we gotta, the one thing that I know just about every Black person in America can appeal to is the fact that they like to feel good when they go do something, right? And feel respected. If you're a Black man out there, I know if you come to my shop and I make you feel respected and I give you good service, I know you ain't never going nowhere. I got you for life, brother. I know that. And if you're a woman and you feel comfort and you feel heard and you feel like you got good service, oh, I got you too. You know what I mean? So the key. So it's not just the business. A lot of us just think, oh, it's just the business, it's the products. Nah. First thing, in my opinion, number one thing is how you make people feel when they come to your business.
Right.
That's what I say.
And I'm gonna add something to that, because some businesses ain't even about feel good. What is your workers' knowledge base? You know, when you go places and people know what they're talking about, you feel a little bit more comfortable because they know what they're talking about. They ain't just telling you to buy this. It's like, well, why this? And you know,
right.
One of my friends was doing some skincare, and you know, the lady who was describing her skin type to her, and she was telling her why she needed certain products because of her skin type, not because, you know, this is for black people and none of this. She was like, your skin type is this, so you know it's probably dry right here. And she's like, yeah, it is. So now what she's saying makes sense, even if she don't know what she's saying. At least it makes sense. But when Mark was on, he was talking about he went to the smoothie shop and he asked him about smoothies. That's gonna do this, and he was like, the girl was like, well, shit, you got a smartphone, look it up. You know, that ain't what nobody want to hear when we're spending money. Now,
Wow.
if you're giving away stuff, yeah, you can do whatever. But if this is your business, you don't understand. Your business, no matter who you think is the face, people deal with your cashiers and your low line people. If they don't know what they're talking about, your business is going to suffer. I mean, why do people love? What's the number one reason people love Chick-fil-A? You in and out of Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A got the best traffic control in the whole free world. Nobody's in Chick-fil-A line for 3 minutes. They own it. They own it. You can see 100 cars at Chick-fil-A at 10 o'clock. You pull in Chick-fil-A as the 101st car. By 10:06, you out of Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
You are gone. With the correct order. Wow. You can pull in McDonald's at 9 o'clock, and by 9:40, you still waiting on that shake machine to come on. So
and your fries gonna be cold.
If they cook. and it's like, you know, that Chick-fil-A model is something special. You know, but Chick-fil-A pays more, they train better. Because like I said, I ain't never been to a Chick-fil-A, but now I like the lemonade and the little waffle fries. But I go and I see that line, I'm like, man, I ain't finna wait in that line. Then I'd be like, oh, that is Chick-fil-A. That line don't even exist in real life. It's a figment of my imagination. But when you see 5 cars at Walmart, at McDonald's, you already know what that means. You already know. You're gonna be there for a minute. They're gonna have you pull over to the side and wait, and they got to drop some grease. They got to get some fries. They may have to go kill a cow to make your food, you know, all kind of stuff. And these things count when you're running a business. And that's something that we seem not to understand, because we keep wanting to tell people to support us because we black and, you know, we going through growing pains and yada, yada this and yada, yada that. Because I truly believe, Mo, and you probably don't talk to more people than me, a lot of times we go into business. One, we don't have a good loan. We don't have a true business plan. We're not good at marketing, and we don't know our clientele like we think we should. You know, I was with a couple people who wanted to do something, and I was like, "Who are y'all marketing to?" One of my clients opened up a restaurant. Okay, it's downtown. You know, and I'm listening to what they're saying. They're like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to get these teachers to come in. We're going to get them discounts. And I'm like, do you know where the closest school is? The closest school is like 25 miles from here. What teacher are you going to get to come in on her lunch break? You know, are y'all going to have delivery drivers or something? Oh, no. So you really think a teacher going to come 25 miles on her 35-minute break to get some food and drink? That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey man, why don't you tell your cop friends that we giving discounts? You know, cops eat free, right? We don't like discounts. We eat free. We show up, we give you, that's free security right there. Ain't no cop finna come down here for a 10%. A 10% discount is actually disrespectful. unless you a Michelin restaurant, that's disrespectful. And it's like, but you're not catering to none of these hotels that are right in this area. You're not catering to none of the business people who are visiting here. You're catering to a whole group that don't even exist. And it's like, nah, we got this. I said, okay, you know, I'm just telling you, I'm looking around. Y'all designed everything to be pro-black, which is cute, but you're in the heart of downtown Atlanta, which is that whole little thing is full of white people with disposable income. But everything you're doing is to keep them out. Well, they just visiting. Okay, but these hotels stay packed. This is something they can walk to because a lot of people who stay at hotels, they want to come out and eat at a local place. They don't want a hotel food. That's where they have all their little bit. This is a sports bar, but you're making this so. Dude, you got billiards, you got darts. I don't know who you think play darts, but it ain't us. They play darts, but you don't want to invest in getting a keg, whatever the thing is. You don't even sell pitchers of beer. How you a sports bar and you don't sell pitchers of beer? How you a sports bar and you got a dress code? And it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. And when you know they didn't make it a year. And a lot of times that's what we do. We'll do things that we think we like, but you're not your customer. You got to know where you are when you go to a neighborhood. What is it they need? Not what is it you want them to have. What is it that they need? People are going to buy what they need before they buy what they want.
So look, DVP, you said some key stuff, man. I got to touch upon. So one thing is that, yeah, and this comes from my own experience. You can't. I don't know if you can look this up. I don't know if there's any data, but from my own experience, if you got a business, it's not a good idea to market to Black people. The better idea is to market to all people, okay? And including in that is your Black folks, right? Because you don't want to be exclusionary. That's one thing I did when I was doing businesses. I was kind of exclusionary, and it hurt me because I was cutting out a piece of my target market deliberately, right?
Right.
I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna do something for my Black people. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting this together. I'm gonna have them something nice, but that's great. But the business went out. All of these businesses that I did went out of business, and it was a big part of it was because I was only marketing to a subsection of customers that I could really get. So you got to structure your business. This is what I would do if it was me. If I was doing a business today, structure it for everybody, but cater it to individual groups, right? My business, everybody can come to my business, but what you looking for? Them little peas that you can eat and you pop them in your mouth. Okay, let's say Black people don't eat those. Yeah, we got those. That's for y'all, right? Oh, you're looking for the corn on the cob? Yeah, we got that. That's for y'all. So I would say make it more global. If you can, make it more global, market it to all people. Don't be exclusionary, and you probably get the best, because think about it this way. This is an example that I'm going to tell you about. I guarantee you there was a brain trust of people of all colors in the room when they designed that damn iPhone. I can guarantee you that. All colors in the room when they designed that damn iPhone. Because you know what? We don't even care. You don't care. You don't care if you're Black, Asian, white, doesn't matter. Native, doesn't matter. That iPhone works for you. And so that's as far as I'm concerned, that's the model you need to kind of go after to say, hey, I want to structure my business as something that everybody can appreciate, everybody can benefit, and that everybody likes.
And do you know what their universal thing was? They made their camera better. Because guess what? Everybody likes to take pictures.
Yeah.
So that was how they tapped into us because we love selfies. But guess what? So do white people. But we think it's us. So you gotta cover the market, not look for a specific group. And it's crazy. I used to tell people, iPhone pretty much does the same thing as every other phone. Oh, but you can't do FaceTime. Yeah, but you can do Google Meets. You can do all these other things for free. iPhone just gives theirs a special name. But you can video chat with anybody on a ton of different things. You don't need an iPhone to video chat with somebody. It's just cute that they call it that. But you've been able to video chat since before Skype. Which is a free app. So but the way they target it, and this was smart. Because one of the things they do that is totally unnecessary is they are extremely overpriced. But they know what that means to people. They want to be able to flex and claim that they got an iPhone. Because there is no reason, ladies and gentlemen, that you should have an iPhone and be on public transportation all the time. Not because you go, you know what I'm saying? Not because you drove to the station and you're going to ride the train from here to there because it's quicker and you ain't got to pay to park. You ride the train because that's your only option in life. But you got an iPhone. And people brag about this iPhone. Like it, you know, it increases your social status.
Yeah.
All righty then. You know, if that's how you feel about it, that's how you feel about it. Who am I to tell you how you should do life? But you know, but it's gonna say you do need a target audience, and your target audience shouldn't be based strictly on what you like. It should be one, where you're located, who is going to be close to you, because most times that's who you got to start with. And as they start coming in, you got to know what they want. But at some point, you need to have done some research somewhere. Too many times, I've seen people say, "Man, shoot, I can't with this. Man, I buy this all the time." Well, you're one person. How many other people have you heard saying they want the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
How many other people have tried to buy something from you, or they just say, "Hey, man, let me hold it." Man, they ain't saying where you get it. I need to buy me one too. They just want to hold yours, which means they don't really want to buy it. You got to have things that are purchasable, and more importantly, they need to be repurchasable. Because like I said, you may get your friends to buy from you one time. That won't sustain your business. You need to have something that's going to do it over and over and over and over, which means the bulk of your business is going to come from total strangers. Total strangers. So you need to do good marketing. And this is where we have to do things where we can lower the prices in mass, as opposed to us keep competing. Me and Mo should compete on a friendly level. Once we get a nice place where we can do all these things, then we compete and see who has the greater monthly sales. Not, you know, whose business is going to last the longest. The friendly competition should be to push each other. And this is how we target each other unfairly, because we're in competition in a bad way. We're not in a competition to make each other better. We're in a competition to run one out, when most markets are big enough for more than one people. Because it amazes me that I have seen very few Black-owned nail salons or the foot people. I mean, I see Black barbers, but ladies, gentlemen, why don't we own foot salons? Why is it that Asians can come in our neighborhoods and take over the whole manicure pedicure thing? And they're making a killing. But guess what they're doing? If you ever go to one, you notice they got a bunch of workers in there, and they doubling and tripling up. And they're sharing that. You know, they don't make as much money per customer, but they make more money by how many customers they can get through. And sometimes I think that's what we don't get when it comes to group economics. Even when you go to, if any of you ladies, gentlemen, if you go to a braid shop with your lady and watch what happens when them Africans get there. First there's one African, then here come another one. They done sectioned your lady head off. She got 3-4 people working on her head. It ain't one African doing it, because they realize if it's going to take one African 8 hours, it'll take 4 of them 2 hours, which means they can get another person in, and another person, and another person, and another person. We got to start thinking of the big picture, and we got to include customer service, or we got to have one hell of a product. The product can't simply be because I'm Black. Because now we're targeting each other with shitty service, but I want you to support my business because I look like you. Even though I ain't going to do nothing for your neighborhood, I'm not going to hire you or your wife, but I want y'all to donate y'all income to me so my family can eat. I ain't really worried about your family eating. And that's pretty much how a lot of us set up business. And that's what sucks. You know, go ahead.
I wanted to just jump on. You said something real key, DVP, man. And I don't know if people get this, but DVP said businesses should be in good competition. I'm gonna give you a good example that I know you all can relate to. You know who actually said that? I'm gonna tell you who actually said that. I don't know if y'all gonna believe this. Some of y'all probably know the story, but y'all remember the Nas and Jay-Z battle? They sat down. That was years ago, right? They sat down and talked about it, and they said they both enjoyed that time in their careers. And the reason why they said that was because they were competition to each other. So they knew when they had to pin something, when they had to put something down, when they had to make a reply, they had to give it their all. So just imagine if businesses were the same way, right? If if DVP's barbershop is around the corner from my barbershop, and look, they come in my shop, be like, yo, man, I can't come here no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to DVP shop. I'm gonna be like, why? What happened? Well, DVP give you a glass of wine when you come in the door. He got some sultry soul music on when you come in the door. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be like, okay, I gotta step my game up, and that's how business should be, you know. Because if you do business that way, you always making improvements, you always staying current, and you know you will keep your customers longevity, you know. But I think a lot of us think short term, you know what I mean, and you got to have that long term vision, and that competition, that's wonderful, man. That's one of the things that do it for you.
So yeah, but you know, we got Joe Moorhan, the United Federation of Planets. So, but yeah, I want us to do a better job, like I say, and if we're going to target us, we got to start targeting us in a good way. We got to quit targeting us in a downfall kind of way. We got to quit targeting us when if the three of us are trying to help and we know this, our target should be good. And now we got three of us. When you leave my shop, one of the things that I want my people to ask is, hey, have you checked out Mo and Jomo's shop? Y'all need to go check them out. They got some good. And this is how you promote good wealth among people. Because when you're asking people what they're looking for, see, now you're doing your surveys. You're finding out what the people want, and then you make sure that that's what you're starting to get as the people want it, not what you think they should have. Because a lot of times we shop for us. We don't shop for other people. So you got to get something that works for them. And this is where we got to do better as business people. But we got to stop these false narratives about, oh, we do $160,000 billion. If we don't want something, it's gonna shut down. I can't think of nothing we shut down when we stop, because we do spend 160 billion. But guess what? Other people are spending 300 billion. So you know we got to quit putting out this false narrative and giving ourselves power that we ain't got. Because as Joe gonna tell us later on that, you know, it's crazy. We claim we got power, then we claim to be powerless, then we claim to be king, then we claim to be victims. You know, we schizophrenic. We don't know what the fuck we got. One minute we were our rulers, then the next minute we crying because ain't nobody treating us fair. And it's like, it should get old. It just gets old. Get a good business plan, run it by some business people, take it to a bank. Don't ask your friends who ain't gonna support shit. Take it to a bank and ask them, is this a good business plan? If you don't know what a good business plan, then you probably shouldn't be in business. Just keep selling shit out of your car. Don't open up a flat. Don't open up a storefront, because you don't have, you know, because they will the landlord will let you open up a storefront. He just wants your money. He don't give a shit about your product. And I've seen people invest their hard-earned money, and you know the rule of business is you let other people's money support you, but you invest your hard-earned money because you believe so much in your product that you ain't field tested, that when you go under, you're bankrupt because you didn't put the legwork in to make sure that your when I opened up my security company, and it was easy, but before I retired from my job, I had 10, 15 contracts going. It was costing me money not to work. So it was easy for me to leave. I had already had a sustainable product. I hear people all the time, oh, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna go into business for myself. And it's like, I don't want to work for the man. Okay. And I believe that's a great aspiration. But have you done what it takes to make sure that your family can eat? See, as single men, the three of us can do whatever we want to do. Because if we ain't got nothing, it's okay, because who is it affecting? It just affects us. I guarantee you, when all of us made that decision to add somebody, we changed what we thought. We changed how we did business. You know, yeah, I'm being careful about how I'm doing this. I ain't gonna pull y'all into this rabbit hole. But yeah, that's what we did. You know, we made conscious choices, and I guarantee you, we're not as risky with family as we would have been by ourselves. It's just not gonna happen, because we know now other people depend on us. So we ain't making the same crazy decisions. I guarantee you. I don't know about Mo, but I guarantee you there were times when Joe like, man, F this job. I'm just gonna quit. And then he like, I got a wife.
Reality set in.
I got a wife.
Right.
She's not gonna be happy. I quit because I'm unhappy. It's cute on TV. Well, if you don't like it, baby, just quit. Come home and let's be poor and homeless together. I'll sleep in the car with you. Said no good woman ever. Now, see, I didn't say said no woman ever. I said no good woman. Because the minute you tell a good woman that for your peace of mind and all this shit you think is important, that y'all got to sleep in the car, good woman ain't hearing that shit. She like, well, I'm going to go to my boyfriend's house. When you get back on your feet, you come get me. She not finna sleep in no car. And I guarantee you, I ain't met the women of these brothers. I ain't met the women these brothers attached to. But I guarantee you, ain't now when I'm going for that sleeping in the car shit. I guarantee you'll go get a job at Waffle House before they gonna sleep in the car, and you gonna work double shifts. So but this is one of the things that we gotta get out of our system, thinking that we gotta do this or we gotta do that, and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's kind of not how this works. So.
Well,
welcome to the show, Jomo.
Hey man, I've been listening, but I got to tell you, I agree with everything, which is hard for me to say. I agree.
Damn, I'm scared now. I'm scared. I'm finna die for real. Don't agree with everything. Can you just say you agree with like 31%?
Look, you're pushing it now, so just be careful. Like Mark just jumped in. He's showing up now, but I'll get to Mark in a minute with his little chubby self. But it's interesting, when we talk about black business owners and black businessmen, one of the problems, let me show you the parallel between police work and black business. We tend to use the same business paradigms and try to apply them to public service work. For instance, do more with less. You can shift your attention to where these patterns are. That's not necessarily true. Those business acumens cannot be passed down and passed to public sector service work because they just don't work. And here's the second thing I like to say is this: how whites run their business, black people can't do the same thing. In prime example, something you said earlier, when I go into a black business, I don't expect them to kiss my behind, but I expect some type of service. In fact, but when I was working, even in the department, I tried to go beyond what they saw my white counterparts. I didn't go over there and dap them up and fuck him. But at the same time, when you rolled into a situation, it was totally different than when some of them, not all of them, but some of them would roll in. And to that point is this: I always taught that they don't have to give you respect. In fact, if you remember when we first started working, you could lock people up for disorderly conduct, which was our disrespect kind of catch-all. Oh, let's lock him up for disorderly conduct. Well, guess what? The courts got tired of that nonsense and said, nah. And here's the other thing. You, as a police law enforcement nationwide, cannot sign a complaint for disturbing the peace, because by the mere fact that you have a gun, your peace cannot be disturbed. So they took those two pieces out the playbook for us. So what happened? So now these reprobates, black and white, figured out another way to do this. So instead of just locking you up for disorderly conduct, now they figured, let's get them for tail light, let's get them for this. And now you start seeing the rise of shootings on traffic stops when it probably could have been avoided all along. You can stop a car, but does it escalate to where somebody loses their life? I've stopped quite a few cars. I think I've pulled my gun maybe 4 or 5 times, but not every stop is a felony stop.
Jeez.
If that makes sense. I mean, so I think that we fall down, particularly in black businesses, because we don't understand that what applies in the white neighborhood doesn't necessarily apply in the black neighborhood. And maybe you don't find it to be true.
No. Listen, I think that's 100% true, because so I have an engineering background, and in the way that what I heard was the physics don't scale. And what that means is this: you see a bird take off, you're flapping the wings, right? What happens when the plane takes off? Ain't no damn wing flapping, right? The physics don't scale. Sometimes things you want the same action, but you got to do it in a different way. And
Yeah.
so I agree 100%, Joe. You know, if and in fact, I have different expectations when I walk into, let's just say, a white shop versus a black shop. I got different expectations, and I don't mean that to say I have bad expectations. I have good expectations for good, but the service I expect it to be different on a different level in a different way, right? If I go into the white shop, I expect kind of like a hands-off kind of, you know, it's just we're gonna just kind of do business. If I go into a black shop, I kind of want to feel like, okay, I'm in a social environment where I'm wanted, and there's a little added I'll say benefit to being in that space, etc. And that's my own personal expectations. Now, if I don't get that, that's fine as long as the service is good. But if you're a good business person and you know that people have these expectations and these thoughts, set your damn business up that way.
Agreed. Hey, just so you know, out of New York Times just now, Jimmy Kimmel is off the air. He was pulled. This is 9 minutes ago.
I know
He
what
was
it is.
pulled immediately after his comments about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I know what he said. Yeah. Ain't that something? So what happened to all this freedom of speech?
Well, listen, man, I'm glad you.
Let me ask for you in it, because I tell people all the time, freedom of speech still exists. There's no freedom of consequences. There's no freedom of consequence, and that's what we got to learn. And that was one of the things I wanted to talk about before Joe came. All these people who are losing their job because they think they can say anything. And one of the last jobs I applied for, and I thought it was so cute. They asked me for my social media platform.
What?
And because a lot of these jobs will monitor you now. I mean, look how many people, look at these Karens who've been fired from jobs because of their social media platform. And people don't realize social media is an eyewitness. It is the best eyewitness.
And a record.
But I'm saying it's your page. It's telling who you are and what you do. And we don't get that. That's why I tell people all the time. There's certain things on this show I will let y'all talk about, but I'm gonna be quiet as a church mouse. It affects my pay. I ain't that honest. I will never be that honest. When it comes to my money and this, well, my money comes first and foremost. You know, but when Joe and Mo talking about something, in my mind, I be saying something, but out my mouth, ain't nothing happening. Nothing. I'm not stupid. And these people doing this, I can't believe I got fired for this. Well, why you can't? And especially those y'all who depend. You know who your manager is. You know who in charge. So you know if they're white Christian nationalists, you should be really careful. And you know, one of the smartest things I heard somebody say is, y'all better stop being Facebook friends with your coworkers, because them the second biggest snitches around. Go ahead, Jomo, do your thing. I just had to get that in there before I forgot. You know, old people forget shit.
What's your name again? No, I completely agree with you. But it's interesting, and here's why I think I disagree with the first part, that freedom of speech still exists. Freedom of speech exists in this moment, in this space, for white men. Be very clear about that. If you watch what's been happening since this Charlie Kirk, and even some of the black talking heads, this Jason Whitlock, God, is he an idiot? The fact that he would say, let me say this. I have no problem about your choice of religion. I do have a problem when, number one, you lie, you get caught in a lie, and you are not who you purport to be. Can you be a man or a person of faith and do all those things? Certainly. I mean, the disciples proved that. I mean, some of them were thieves, some of them were pimps, whatever else. But don't lay claim to this guy being a higher being. And it was interesting because there's so many things that are happening in this time, in this space. You got Jimmy Kimmel being knocked off the air. You got Stephen Colbert knocked off the air. But yet you hear these guys talking about freedom of speech. And here's the other thing I saw that was so amazing. The governor of Utah said, basically, I can't believe it was one of us.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
It gets better. At the same time, so now, and I got to tell you, brothers, I got to tell you, and even to your listening audience, I don't know about you, but I will tell you, when it went down, first thing I said, please don't let it be one of us.
Hey,
I'm sorry, man, I did.
They got 4%. They got 4% up there. I said the same thing.
But hold on. But let me add this. The very next day, they show a rally where all these guys got their MAGA hats on, and they're shouting, "White men fight back." Fight back against what? You killed you. We didn't kill you.
Fight yourself.
I'm gonna say,
hey Joe.
Hold on. But here's where the problem lies. The leader of this movement, and here's where people, please read a book. Please read history, because we are clearly in a time where history is repeating itself. I picked up a book last week, and it's called The Nazi Mind. Just released, but he has chapters, and he lists the different things that Hitler did. And it's exactly the playbook they're using now. Disenfranchise, make an enemy out of somebody, make the base feel loyal, give them a theme. Make America great again. Now, but just so you know, Hitler used the same tome, Germany first.
Before I forget, Joe, Mo, when they said that shot came from over 200 yards, y'all knew it wasn't one of us. And, and you know the crazy thing is that ain't nobody discuss. And ladies, everybody talk a good game. Shooting somebody like that from 200 yards, that's a hell of a feat.
Can I add to that? Not only is it a hell of a feat, but hold on now. For some of us that are gun aficionados, as my wife likes to say, I'm a gun nut. I'm not. But understand that this guy took a shot 200 yards, two football fields, and hit a piece that was less than 6 inches in sight. Come on, man. Now, that gun that he used, I've tried that. That was the Germans used them in World War II and actually in World War I. They are called the Mausers, and it's a 27-inch barrel. So could he have made it? Possibly. But based on what I understand of his shooting skills, he couldn't have done that. However, the fact that this guy took a 200-yard shot and hit a space less than 6 inches, because remember, the neck is smaller than the head at that point. So 200 yards, think about that, 2 football fields. How big is his neck? Maybe less than 2 inches, actually. I mean, if you're talking about sight pictures. That was one hell of a shot. See, that's shit.
For those of y'all who don't understand how hard this is, you can't do that on Call of Duty.
No.
You can't do that on Call of Duty. So, and I'm waiting for them to get into his training, because let's just say, for whatever reason, he got lucky and he was aiming for the head and he missed the head. The margins for error is no. I'm still not buying into the. I know they say his DNA is on everything, but I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna see what Joe got to say. When you have true snipers who have that kind of ability, they don't leave DNA. You know what I'm saying? They like surgeons. When they do the ammo and stuff, they got on latex gloves. They don't leave clues like that behind. I ain't saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying, based on my knowledge, training, experience, and the information they put forth about him, that's highly improbable. Because he doesn't. That ain't, like I say, even if you could put 1 million people up there side by side to take that shot. And out of that million, zero would hit him. We ain't talking about his neck or his head. Zero ain't gonna hit him, period. That's a long ass shot. That's a long ass shot.
Well,
All right.
let me add one more. Let me just put a little more spice on that. Think about this. What side of the body did he shoot him on?
Left.
Uh-huh. Now, what's on the left side of the body?
Heart.
Bingo. Carotid artery.
Yeah, he hit him. Yeah, he hit him right in it.
So for a guy that, so let me get this right. So a guy that doesn't shoot regular,
Right.
he picks up a Mannlicher rifle and makes a 200-yard. Look, man, this guy should have been in competition.
Facts.
No, this guy should be over in Iraq or something, because
Well,
this guy he can top what a lot of top shooters are doing.
Well, I tell you what, the guy is back in Iraq now. but
I can support a conspiracy theory on that one. I can support.
I was getting ready. That's where I was going, Joe. That's where I was
Look,
going, man. I'm
look.
like, look, this guy
got
is not going to prison. They recruiting him.
No. Look, this guy's gonna get Epstein.
Absolutely. They recruiting him, man. He's going to work for the United States government somewhere.
This
No?
guy's gonna die. No, this guy's gonna die. He's a patsy.
Oh, okay.
And understand something. And again, if we read history,
Oh, you
remember
saying he's not the one that shot? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
I don't think he's a shooter. I don't think that. And again, you got a guy like Cash Patel telling you, wait a minute. He sent out a tweet. We got the guy, and then he had to walk it back. Even the professionals on the ground, like, oh, this guy's an idiot. The first rule. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a quick question. And I'm not a fan of this. You ever been in the military, Joe? Okay. Well, I've been in the military. Let me tell you this about snipers. Each and every single one of them, not most of them, not 99.9, 118% of snipers have an attitude. They are not meek. They're not mild. They stand out in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
This little dude they got, in a fist fight he running.
Yep.
He does not fit any profile whatsoever for a shooter. None.
No.
He don't even stand up straight.
No.
The only thing he's done that is sniperish is he's refused to talk. That's the only thing he's done. But
I've never
all them text messages they got him go, nah.
I've never met, nor have I ever read of any sniper engraving his bullet. See, that's TV shit. And you got to understand how they play us. They give you something to bite on. But what are you biting? Is it an apple or is it a loaded bull? And I can tell you that, if you try to take a mouthful of what they just handed you, it ain't going to be a good taste at all. But, as Mark was saying, there's two different people. From my training and from what I've read, I'll just say that. To me, the people you see in the videos are almost giving windage and elevation, if you know anything about shooting.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, 202 football fields?
Yeah,
Come on, man.
That's ridiculous.
No, he ain't hitting that. That's like saying Lee Harvey Oswald made that shot from 6 stories up in another football field, and he hit an object like that with a 30-30, I believe it was. I've got an exact copy of that gun. It's a piece of garbage gun. It's a Carcano. It's a 6.5 Carcano. He bought it for $20, $25 from Sears and Roebuck with a $20 scope. And he kills a president at six stories up. Again, I think it was another 200-yard shot. Nope, I'm not buying it. And then, wait, here's the best part. The guy that does the investigation, and again, I'm telling my age, is the head of the CIA heads up the investigation. Alan Dulles. Go read about Alan Dulles if you want to talk about some real CIA. What was formerly called the OSS, Office of Strategic Services, was the forerunner to CIA, and everything you can think of, they did. So if you think that this guy pulled this shot off, I think you should pick the lottery numbers tonight.
So had they had do anybody know if they've had this type of discussion talking about the probability of that shot and what kind of person could make that? And wouldn't you be well in the system somewhere if you were capable, if you had that kind of capability?
Remember how you said the media is a certain way? I guarantee you nobody's ever going to bring that up. And if you ever watch other shooters, the first thing they start talking about is their military background, because that's what I kept waiting on. Because this ain't no hitman shit. You got to have a military background. Because even before you can go dark and belong to Blackwater, whatever these other things are, you have to come from the military first. Correct. So somewhere along the way, he should have had a dishonorable discharge or a general discharge. He ain't old enough for none of that. He barely old enough to blow his nose by himself. So I guarantee you, and that was to me, and I'm sure to Joe, that was one of the most glaring things. It's the things they didn't say, because that's what I'm listening for. Because I'm listening for his shooting history. His training that he had somewhere. That ain't, it ain't easy to train somebody to shoot 100 yards with a tripod, and there's no wind. That's not an easy shot. 200 yards on a
handheld, right? Or the 26 rifle, which means
and you got windage.
If you move it with even a millimeter, that's 2-3 feet the other way.
Right. So I'm listening for all the things they don't say, and I'm like, I just laugh. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Because I guarantee you, the professional, and I'm with Joe on this, the professional who did it didn't leave no tracks, because that's what snipers do. Because if you ever, some of the stuff that you see is true. They pee in plastic bags. They carry all that with them. All their waste they take with them. They don't leave nothing behind. Nothing. Not shell casings. Nothing. Everything goes with them. They almost like an astronaut. Everything is self-contained. Everything. They don't leave nothing behind. So, like I said, I'm listening for what they're not saying. Oh, they found bullets. They found DNA. They found extra ammo. Get the for a dude who can make that shot. And the second part of the show when we talk about targets, because I'm listening, and I'm thinking, damn. Well, I'm thinking, when did Nancy Pelosi's husband, didn't he die?
No.
Okay. Well, when it's somebody from the other side who dies, you don't get all of this. There's no call for nothing. There's no coming. There's no nothing. It's like, oh, well, they probably did this. They probably did that. And that's what I had my issue with the target was, and I talked a little bit about Joe. This guy, we're making him out to be something, and to me, there should be a media blackout. Nobody should be saying his name. Act like he don't exist. Don't say nothing bad about it. Just don't mention him at all. That's how you give nobody no press. That's how that is the ultimate form of knocking somebody off the thing. But everybody who got something to say about him, they're sharing the clips of what he said that was disparaging. Do we really need to hear that over again? Because to me, all you're doing is whether you mean to or not, you keeping his name up. Because most of us don't listen to the channels where they're making him out to be a hero. But I logged off social media because when you said it to me the first time, I didn't know who he was, because I don't keep up with them people like that. But every time I logged on for a quick second, I see somebody saying something about him. We shouldn't do this. We should. Right. I ain't gonna say you should celebrate death, but you don't have to talk about it either. You can just not mention him at all. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
I have to push back on that for a couple of reasons.
And do your thing. Good. We need to disagree on something, because you was making me nervous.
We do.
Okay. You was making me nervous.
Here's the thing with a guy like this. First off, I just posted something earlier today. Statistically, since 1996, and it's documented in a few white papers, that more killings have been instigated and promulgated by the right than the left. So that's problem number one. The second issue is the insult of this president, and I don't like to use that word in conjunction with him, because what he has done is he has not only lowered the standard for America or Americans, but he's made us the laughing stock of the world. And here's what I mean. Charlie Kirk embodied everything racist and hypocritical I can think of. The reason I make sure that we keep him moving is because those who don't history are doomed to repeat it. And as bad as
over and over again.
But it's a truism.
Yeah.
Because we can't let people forget that there are people like Charlie Kirk who lie openly and get away with it. When they're real martyrs like King, Edgar, X, who are real political assassinations. The other part of this is that this piece of whatever, I won't say the word, but previous to that, two things happened. All the political assassinations in the last 4 years have been by Trump supporters. Let's not even talk about January 6th, because apparently that doesn't matter. That didn't happen. It wasn't an insurrection. It was a meeting. Okay. It was an
application for ICE.
Yeah, it was an insurrection in our lifetime. So that should scare people there. The other thing is this: 2 Minnesota congressmen, Minnesota reps, were murdered by Trump supporters. Documented. Didn't lower the flag. When this guy dies, there's a shooting. He doesn't even call them. He never calls the governor of Minnesota to say, "Hey, I'm sorry for what happened." Normally, and as bad as people talk about Biden, whatever you want to say about him, the man did at least pick up a phone and say, "Listen, we're prayers," or whatever you got to say. You're the president of all the people. And Barack used to say this. It kind of got me mad, but he was right. I'm not the president for black people. I'm the president for all people. And he was right. Check that, because you'll never hear that again. But these kids get shot up in the school, doesn't say anything. But Charlie Kirk, number one, Charlie Kirk said that Ketanji Brown and Michelle Obama were DEI hires. Now, wait, let me get this right. These two sisters not only completed college, but they completed law school, grad school. This guy drops out of junior college.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get? But here's where people have to understand. This is the epitome of white privilege. Understand what I said, and I want you to listen very closely. That is white privilege. A white man who has nothing to compare with these two people is a millionaire because he can spout hate. These women have to struggle to get where they are, but because he is a white male, he can make allegations and not be called for. Some of you said earlier, and DDP and I, let me just piggyback on that, and this is this. You have the right to your opinion, but be careful of the consequences of your actions. So you may call me a nigga when I knock the shit out of you. Hey, free speech, baby.
Hey, so Joe, you said a lot of good stuff, man. I'm gonna say this. I understand what you mean about him becoming a martyr, because we keep saying his name over and over. I'm gonna say I'll take that. I'll take him being a martyr for the fact that the next one will think twice. All right, because if you whitewash his name and you take it out of the public sector now, and let's act like it never happened. Well, then the next person gonna just stroll in and start doing the exact same thing. Gonna have a similar, and I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Gonna have a similar racist attitude when talking with groups of people or ideologies and things like that. So look, this is a warning shot. Unfortunately, it's more than a warning shot. It found his mark. So I'll take them making him a martyr for the fact that The next person who wants to try that, think twice. That's my position.
And then look at Fox News. Ain't nothing gonna change. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, see, I got a problem with that thought process. People die, ideologies don't. Problem number one. The second part is this. No, he should not be a martyr. Make him what he is. He's a racist piece of garbage. Now, I certainly don't condone killing people because of difference of opinion. But the beauty of it, it wasn't us. Oh, thank God it wasn't us.
Oh, yeah, I know. Hey, I was just waiting. I was just waiting for them to flash.
Can you imagine? Look, and again, this is going to probably sound crazy as all get out. I would be remiss if I did not say this at least one time. There are people out there that are trying to stoke the fears and invite a race war. That's my opinion. And everything I've seen, nothing is deviating from. As crazy as that sound in our lifetime, there are people that would certainly you got people say, no, that ain't true, but please tell me if I'm wrong.
That's absolutely true, because guess what? They're still trying to start a race war, even though a white person killed Charlie Kirk. They're still starting a race war. That makes no damn sense. White man stand up, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
White man fight back. I couldn't believe it.
Fight back to who? Yourself?
Right.
Yourself. You know what I'm saying? It is so look, it's crazy that it's gonna divert, and black people gonna get mixed up in all this, and we had nothing to do with it. It's gonna happen.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
Again, if we look at history, and this is why I say I don't like it. Let's look at white America. Let's look at some of white American icons who did something foul, and how white America just stopped talking about them. When you look at the Matt Lauers, when you look at the Roman Polanskis, white people just stop talking about. They don't talk about how bad they were, what they did. They just don't talk about them. At some point, we got to adopt their theory, because we're helping this live on. Because understand again, and it sucks that I didn't know who he was, but a lot of people didn't. Now a lot of people do, and he's dead. Well, these same group of people. We won't talk about LeBron school. We won't talk about the good things black people have done, but we will keep harping on bad things that white people have done. And this is, to me, where we create our own PTSD, because we keep wanting to say, come on now. If we're being honest, how many of us ain't been called the N-word? How many of us ain't been told we've been shit? How many of us ain't faced some type of racism? Do we keep preaching that to our kids? Because we don't want them to know about that. We move on. We don't let them know it affected us. When we do this, and we get the repercussions. One of the things that always amazed me that's never harped on, when 46 was 44. What is it? No. When 47 was 45. His own people said the greatest threat to America is white Christian nationalists, which are far right people, which are Trump supporters. His own people said that the greatest threat to us was them, but that's never harped on. His own people, his own hand-picked people said this, and it's never repeated. It's never repeated. Well, guess who the biggest threat to America still is? White Christian nationalists. It ain't people that cook dogs. It ain't people that hunt dogs. It ain't people that steal dogs. It ain't people with accents. It's not. And for us to just keep giving them carte blanche, if we're gonna speak the name of somebody who doesn't look like us, let's speak on Jimmy Kimmel. Let's speak on Stephen Colbert. Let's talk about somebody who is at least standing up to the system that doesn't look like us, because the us's ain't gonna say nothing, because we want to keep our shows. So you're not gonna see Wendy Williams. I don't know who got a show now. You're not gonna see none of them talk about this.
Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, you're not gonna see them talk about this. And I'm with you on that one, Joe. That's why I had to catch myself. But so what is the purpose in keeping his name alive? He's gone now. Won't that thing say be repeated?
You're wrong.
No. I mean, we're doing it though. I mean, they gonna do it, but why are we doing it? There's so many other things that we can talk about to either uplift or move past. But we're keeping this. It's like that scar. You just keep scratching at it. Just put some ointment on it, put a Band-Aid on it, wait 3 days like the doctor told you. But we keep putting on, and we gotta stop. We gotta stop embracing the victimization. It ain't gonna stop. But it's almost like we embrace being victims because it gives us a reason not to have to try hard. Oh, every time I try, oh, he gonna pull me down. Well, Joe didn't take that mentality. I didn't take that mentality. Mo, you got a house. You didn't take that mentality. We can keep believing this, and then we don't have to strive for nothing. And it goes back to I had a off the record meeting off the books meeting one day with a group of drug dealers because they were agitating me, and I just couldn't understand. So I called an impromptu meeting. This is back when I was retired. There's a statute of limitations. And I asked them, I said, y'all are the top drug dealers in this little area. I know who all y'all are, so we're not going to play no games. We're not going to act like y'all run a legit business because we're not here to BS each other. I said, what I don't get, though, is there 3 pieces of property that y'all could buy and put some of these kids to work and launder your money and become legitimate businessmen. Y'all got marketing skills. Y'all got this. Y'all got everything it takes to do this. And y'all are the ones who are supposedly good people. Y'all just don't have leadership and guidance. But all y'all could take y'all money to this Bank of America around the corner, because once you got money, the banks will play with you, and get them to finance and y'all get these buildings. It bothers me that y'all ain't gonna do this. And one of the guys said, well, what if the grocery store don't make it? I said, but did you have that mentality when you became a drug dealer? We're so afraid of success, even though we can do great shit. Because Joe can tell you, drug dealers are the best. They know their market. They know their customers. They know how to add and count money.
Yeah.
So they were destined to be CEOs, but they're afraid of white America. And that keeps them in the hood where they're harming their own when y'all could actually start making a good difference and you could actually get out the game because there's a statute of limitations on this. When y'all own these drugstores and y'all become Robin Hoods, nobody will remember this stuff. But we like the fame and fortune, and it's being a drug dealer is low risk other than going to jail. You don't get to be a fade where if you open up a store and you open up a business, well, what happened if people don't support it? Bruh, ain't not now hood in America not need a grocery store. Not now. And this is kind of how we doing stuff as opposed to trying to raise up. We'll stick with things that keep us down.
See, I think it's a little bit more sinister than that. And let me ask you this. What do you think, beside being black, what do you think it was that they had to sanction Medgar, X, King, and even the Black Panthers? What do you think the common theme was?
They were trying to improve our situation.
I'll go one better. They were organizers.
Yeah.
Now, if you take that same thought and you look how the street gangs in New York morphed into what's now called the Costa Nostra. Costa Nostra. It's all about organizing. That's all it was. And what they had to do with Jeff Fort, Larry Hoover, and the rest of them, couldn't let you organize. We talk shit and we talk about drive-bys. Who do you think started drive-bys? We didn't. We didn't have cars. But that being said, the one thing you said is very true. From Atlanta to Chicago, down to St. Louis, and out to California, they're starving us because we don't have our own stores. The reason they crushed, or they attempted to crush, Nation of Islam is because they did 2 things: organize and stuck together. See, I'll say this openly. When Black Americans get their act together, the whole world shakes. Whole world, not just America, the whole world. Watch.
Yeah, that's because that's I think that's the key to a lot of things. The key, that's the key to. Yeah, I can think of so many things that if we just would take the time to organize, get tenants, get things in order, could be a lot more effective. You know, and that scares. I think that scares people more than just about anything.
Look, King got killed for a lot of reasons, but here's what he did. When he created and kicked off the Montgomery boycott, it took money out of their pockets. Not only did it take money out, they organized, they started. In Chicago, we had what was known as jitney cabs, which would run up and down a certain street, and you could share the cab. Before there was Uber, you could share the cab. We had grocery stores. Think about this, gentlemen, particularly for DVP, maybe not you so much, Mo. But in our lifetime, we had more stores. We had more unity.
Yeah.
We had particularly grocery stores. I mean, when I was coming up, there had to be at least 6 different black grocery stores, cab companies. Where is that now? Find me a black cab company. Anywhere, please. I'll wait.
And it's funny you say it, but and this is an old people thing. We never left our neighborhood to go to the grocery store. It was at best a 2-walk block.
Didn't have to.
I can't tell you where there's a true neighborhood grocery store now.
Nope. So the things that we were fighting for in 65, and I can remember them vividly. What are we doing now? Same fight. So who didn't learn anything? They certainly moved on. And what they've learned is that while they keep us divided, they unite. The one thing I got to give the MAGA movement is that they have one thing that unites them that we should have: color of their skin. They don't care if you're Polish, if you're Irish, even if you're Jewish. We got to argue about if you're Baptist or Catholic or Protestant or Kojic.
We argue about whether you dark skin or light skin. Oh, you got good hair. You think you one of them. And like I said, it's so crazy things that we will use to divide us and try to make them acceptable. And that's like I said, and that's why, like, you know, there was a time like when I Facebook on a regular basis, I would just tag people and they're on the post on it. And once you get people into that habit, they can stay away from other stuff. You just got to challenge them. And I think we need to do more of that. Challenge them to find 10 things, you know, for 10 days. You can only post positive stuff. And you'll see a lot of people, their whole mindset change because they stop being part of the crowd and just posting what everybody else is posting. Because you can find some positive things. Some days is a struggle, but you can find something every day. And once we make a concerted effort to look for more positive things, the negative things stop being so prominent. And it's like, you know, it's always something good happening. It's just whether or not you want to promote that or you don't. You know, come on, man. It's like, and that's to me, that's just one of them things that I just believe in. I believe in just not talking about certain things. I mean, we'll address it when it happens, but after that, all right, let's end this. Let's not give it no more airplay. We're gonna move forward. We're not gonna keep sitting here because more to what you were saying, he's gonna be replaced by another person. And there ain't gonna be no consequences because it just won't. I personally think, and it seems like a lot of people knew who he was, but it seemed to, in hindsight now, it seemed like a lot of people didn't know who he was, and they needed this platform to bring it up a little bit, to bring it up another notch.
And that's what martyrdom is designed to do?
Yeah, because it's like, hey, you know, we can get his message out better if you take one for the team. We're going to give you a ride on Air Force One. Air Force Two. You got to be shitting me.
Right.
He got a military funeral?
Lowered the flag.
You didn't want to do nothing for the cops at the Capitol, but you want to do. You want to.
So DVP, yeah, you should be triplex. I ain't gonna say perplex. You should be perplex, triplex, all the plexes because
I'm octuplexed.
you octoplex. Yeah, man, because with that, you know what? Just think about this. Let's frame this concept in a message. Think about the message, right? Associated with giving a military funeral to someone like that. They wouldn't have done that for Hitler, right? Why not?
I don't know.
No. Let's make it even. Your point is well made, but here's where you got to remember: this guy did not hold an elective position.
I know.
Position.
Yeah.
He didn't even do this.
Or was he in the military?
Right. And he didn't even do this, for the policemen in DC, nor did he do that for the kids who got shot at school, 2 school shootings, by the way. And what about the Minnesota people who were elected? You went to their house. They were sending bombs to Obama's house. The guy goes and attacks Pelosi's husband at home with a hammer.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then here's the killer. I understand that, revoke clearances. Like, okay, that's your prerogative. He snatches the detail from Kamala Harris. Come on, man.
And he ain't giving it back. He ain't
giving it back.
If he was going to be a president of people, this right here incident should have made him give it back. If he was going to try to, because even the dude from Fox News, he apologized for his statement about homeless people should be killed. He came back with the quickness and apologized. I don't know who said something to him. I don't know if it was his wife, because I know it wasn't nobody from Fox. I don't know if it was his mama. But he said it. I don't even think 8 hours went by before he came back and apologized for that. Because when he said it with his chest.
Oh, yes, he did.
He said it with his chest, and there was no hesitation. There was no teleprompter. But he came back and apologized. Alex, I don't know what got into him. Because that.
I know what happened. He got a call from his homeless Uncle John.
No, they had to come from wife or mom. They didn't came from a friend. They didn't came from a rich. They came from a mama or a wife. Because like I said, he came back way too quick. And for him to be a Fox guy to do that, like, ooh, what's really going on? He might have been the shooter.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was the other one. That's the other one Charlie Kirk said was DEI hire. Kamala Harris. Wait, so then it was funny. Somebody posted this today. So one of the Trump appointees said, yeah, these colleges need to put in a conservative that's a Christian and something else. So the reply was, oh, so DEI, huh? And it's true. You bunch of hypocrites. But here's the thing: we've got to keep. Even King said you've got to keep calling them what they are. You cannot let them off by condoning or keeping it silent. If we don't keep hollering, keep shouting, that, hey, this is wrong, it becomes ingrained that they can do it, and that's exactly what this guy's focus is. But beware of this. If you think Trump is pulling all this off by himself, you're fooling yourself. Now, has he created a career criminal enterprise? I say yes. And what they're doing to the Palestinians, geez, we are going to be facing some serious stuff soon. It's coming to us. Trust me.
Yeah, I say, I agree with you 100% because the way I look at Trump is, I saw this program, it's a movie. You guys might have seen it called Wag the Dog.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, and you know why I'm saying what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of the Trump administration is not the dog is not leading. The tail is wagging the dog, and this is the same thing. You know, Trump is not leading. There's a whole, like you said, Joe, a whole constituency that is making a decision, showing them how to get stuff done, helping them with his corrupted campaigns, the whole nine. He's just the one saying, how can I do this? Oh, I like to do this. How do I do this? And then, you know, they go into their little think tank. There you go, sir. This is how you can get it done. You know, that's what I say.
I agree. There's a book called The Fragility of Democracy, and it's written by 2 PhDs, and their point is that based on the freedoms that we access under this thing called democracy are going to be the very tools they use to dismantle it. That's a deep thought. And if you look at what this guy is doing, from setting the Supreme Court on a certain path, he's exactly right.
So, you know, so on that note, Joe, because this just came to my mind, on that note, this is one of the things that I have a real problem with I'll say the whole Congress and the whole presidential constituency, everything, is that, you know, they want to keep the books as is from way back. They want to keep the books as is. They don't like to modify the law to improve, right? It's like, okay, what they made way back then, you know, when we were 1/5 of a man and all this stuff, the books just modified that just a little, right? But then since then, that's just so we could move like humans, right? We humans now, right? That don't mean we're citizens, we humans. But the point is that the law and everything on the books, man, the movement is like a goddamn snail's pace. And y'all know the judicial system moves slow as hell. You know, I think that's by design, that's by default, because, you know, you got to push that stuff out. And in fact, there'll probably be roadblocks and issues to pull it back. If you try to get too far, you'll pull it back, right? You got to keep resetting that. That way it's status quo the whole time, right? And, you know, the reality is this stuff should have been getting improved over time if they really wanted to change. So my conjecture is that we don't really want change.
See, no. I will say this because I can see DVP is about to cut us off. I see we're at time. Let me just I can see him stroking his little beard. We got 10 minutes. Okay. But let me say this. You just made the commercial and the reason for why voting matters. And I will tell you this. I heard from more young brothers talk about my vote don't count. But now understand, all politics is local. And let me explain that. If you don't vote in your local elections, which affect national elections, then how do you can't move forward.
Right.
Every stride that we've made in this country had to be done by two things: force and by law. Not by force of law, but by force and by law. When the president of the Confederacy gave his speech, it was called the Cornerstone Speech, and he says in it that the basic reason for, not the basic, but the overall reason for the Civil War was because of slavery, not because of states' right. And quit telling me about states' right, that states' rights to own slaves. But it's in it. Read it for yourself, people. Please do, and please challenge me. It's called the Cornerstone Speech, but I digress. Until you had the movement of Thurgood Marshall as a practicing attorney and arguing in front of the Supreme Court, and you had justices who understood that maybe something ain't right here. Let me throw this one out. I'll be quiet. I laugh when I hear particularly Black people talk about, I got to protect my Second Amendment rights. Forgive me for what I'm about to say to you two, but let me just say this. Nigga, are you out your mind? The Second Amendment came about as a slave revolt in Virginia. Listen to me again. The Second Amendment was not created for your black butt. It was to keep you enslaved. Now, did we become a beneficiary of it? Certainly. It backfired on them, for lack of a better term. But for the first 50 years, it meant that state militias could gun up when they thought there was a slave revolt coming. Hence, Nat Turner.
Yeah, and that makes sense too, because for a long time, like I said, we weren't a whole man. So
Still
guess
not.
what? The law, I'm saying, on the books, those laws didn't apply to us. So that makes a lot of sense.
Did you all hear about this rapper? In fact, Amber Rose was on with this guy. Look it up if you think I'm lying. This guy started rapping about lynching them. We need to do it like my granddaddy did. It was the best way. If you think I'm lying, look it up. It just, he's got a MAGA hat on. He calls himself the mayor of MAGAville, and he's rapping about lynching.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, but what gets me is, again, Amber Rose is black. At least last time I checked. You're on this thing with this dude?
Artistic expression.
Oh, come on, Joe. I got to give you more credit than that. You know that skin color don't mean nothing. I could run a whole list of them down for you.
Well, please, yeah, Snoop Dogg and the rest of them. I remember the last election. Remember last election? Snoop Dogg called everybody a sellout niggas, and that was his quote.
Yeah.
And what does he do this election? He's the main guy. He's the main guy. When I saw the Republicans doing the Crip Walk, I almost passed out. I laughed so hard.
Man, that's crazy, because I know you guys know, as Leos, there was a time where. So I'm gonna tell you this quick story. I think we got about. You got something, DVP? 5. Okay,
we still good. We got 5 good minutes.
So I'm gonna tell y'all this, because it's crazy. So y'all know there was a time where the gang stuff was serious, man. If they catch you wearing the colors, if they catch you doing the Crip Walk, it's over. It's over. It's over for you. So one time, me and my wife, we in California. We ain't thinking about it, right? We ain't thinking about where we at, right? We in California. Got invited to this little party. Went to this little party, and they put on some song. I don't know, we was in LA too. Put on some song, and the people in the party start Crip walking. My damn wife got in the middle of the circle. I said, "Hey, what is you doing?" Yo, hey, listen, man. I grabbed her. I said, "Come here, you get us a deal." I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You know where we at, right? We're in LA, man. This is California. This is their home, man. What are you doing?"
See, your wife
they was doing it. I said, trying to get us smoke, man.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
No, it's not. It wasn't good, man. I'm still here, so it's okay. But Jesus, man.
Oh God. Crip walk.
I don't know what to say about you, gentlemen. But in closing, we got to do better. We got to stop being our own targets. We got to stop targeting each other. It's crazy. I was listening to Tupac's song. He's like, the old way wasn't working for us. We got to change the way we treat each other, the way we eat. We got to change how we're doing each other. Because until we do that, as we talk about with these other communities, like I said, and it irks me when people talk about them. But like I said, when you go to Chinatown, when you go to these Indian neighborhoods, they are solidified. I guarantee you ain't finna go to Chinatown and be saying shit like chink or none of that. None of that. Because they don't play that. They don't have to know each other like that. You ain't finna do it. We're the only race that's so disrespectful, and then we want to act like we're upset when somebody is disrespectful to us. And I was telling somebody, I was like, if you really want to make me unfriend you or to just shut down, call me the N-word. There's no love behind it. It just ain't, I don't care how you mean it. I'm telling you how I take it, because anything that you call me, if you can say it out loud, anybody who hears you, if I smile to it, they should feel comfortable calling me the same thing because that's how it works. I said, so no, I'm not going to be that. Oh, it's just a word. And again, if you believe it's just a word, at the next family picnic, the family reunion, whatever, go in the kitchen, look at your mama square in the face and say, hey, bitch, fix me a sandwich. It's just words. And tell me what happened. Because that to me is just the dumbest shit going. Because as Joe said, yeah, freedom of speech doesn't equal freedom of consequences. And, we try to tell our kids, sticks and stones, yada, 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 yada. But we knew growing up that shit didn't apply. You say the wrong thing. I'm going to take this. I'm gonna take this. I can't come outside for 2 weeks. But I'm going to be smiling at window, and you're going to keep looking up that window. You want to make sure I'm in that window so I can't come outside and punch you again. But there's a consequence to saying things. And those of us who know, when our kids do something wrong, if it's for a good reason, we got to still punish you because that's what the system says. But you're going to eat good while you're in your punishment. You're going to eat good. you might get the extended cable package, but you can't go outside. We can do better. We can make sure. But until we start at home and in our communities, when I did a show, I was on a show and we talked about the neighborhood watch. And it was crazy how many people don't know their neighbors. I don't want them in my business. And one girl said, I used to think like that. Somebody tried to break in my house. My nose neighbor called the police. And then she realized it doesn't pay for us to keep acting like we can be isolated and not be my brother's keeper, not be my sister's keeper, not do this, not do that. We can't win that game. We aren't strong enough individually. We can't get the home security system like they got. We can't get that one. Our home security system is our neighbors. But we got to understand that process. We ain't got to be friends, but we do have to start watching out for each other. The more eyes is watching, the safer we will come. Because even if you look at the crime stats, and again, I'm going to pick on Joe because Joe was a police chief. In these neighborhoods where they are, when they don't get many calls for service, they just don't. And guess what else? They don't have many calls. They don't have many complaints about police abuse because the police can't go in there and abuse them because the community is stuck together. So when they do call the police, 9 times out of 10, the perpetrator already handcuffed to a tree or something. Probably already got the shit beat out of him. But all the police got to do is come in there, drag him to the car and get the hell on. They don't have a lot of complaints with cops because the cops don't get to do a lot of stuff. When they call them, pretty much everything is already done. Would you agree with that, Joe?
I would have to agree with that, yes.
It's like Chinatown got 3 calls for service a year. 3. What the hell? That's it? Yep. It was right. It was already at Chinatown line. You didn't have to go inside town. He was just sitting right there. You know what I'm saying? Right. But
all time.
Right. But there's no complaints about the cops because they don't get to come in and abuse. Because when you come in there, if you got to come in the whole thing, it's 70 or 80 people outside watching you. They make sure you go to the right person. They make sure you grab the right person. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. And we got to be more like that. I went to a call, and I'm going to end on this. I went to a call, and I shouldn't have been there, but my dumb ass went anyway. And it was a man with a knife. So I get there, man with a knife means I need to shoot him. Right, Joe? I get there. The mother's the caller. She says, my son is having an episode. He's trying to stab me. Okay, well, we don't have emergency personnel. I mean, this is back before they start all this other stuff.
Right.
She asked me, could I go in there and not shoot him? Hold on, so he wouldn't stab you. What makes you think he won't stab me? You got to be shitting me. I'm going to let you can try to talk to him one more time. But if I see a flash of light, believe me, it's going to be followed by some high-speed stainless steel. And it's like, you really want me to stop your son who's trying to kill you. You want me to stop him without shooting him? And it was crazy to me. We actually ended up getting him without shooting him, but that's because I was a little stupid. Well, I was a lot stupid because had Joe been my boss, he would have patted me on the back and he would have told me to go home for a couple of days for being stupid. But the fact that she really believed I could do this, because nobody else was going to do it, it would take a stupid individual who thought he was John Wayne to do this. But you don't have that in other neighborhoods. They would have figured out a way to get it done. And it amazes me, and I'm sure, Joe, you've heard this more than I have because you did it longer. Can't you just shoot him in the leg?
Right.
No. Do you know how small a leg is? No, I ain't that good a shot.
Why don't you
No,
try
I'm
and
gonna
shoot him in the leg?
probably hit your sofa too. So I'm hitting anything that's big first till I run out of bombs. But can I hit the moving leg? You mean that one?
Third leg?
No. So but yeah, we got to actually we truly do have to start doing better. We have to. That's the only way we're gonna be able to make it. Other than that, everything that Joe is talking about is gonna come true. And the worst part about it is they don't have to do nothing. We will do it to ourselves. All they gotta do is just come in and pick up the scraps. And survival gonna kick in for those who are left behind. Because no matter how strong the three of us may be, when it ain't but three of us, how strong are we gonna be in the fight? We started with 1,000, ain't but three of us left. Guess what we're gonna turn into? We're gonna turn into Du Bois. Because hey, it didn't work for them other 997,000 people. And but we're not sticking together. Everybody either want to fight on their own or they want to fight the guy they should be fighting with as opposed to the guy they should be fighting against. So no, it's 8:02. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna have fun next week. I got some crazy stuff that we're gonna do, I think. So
as usual.
No, this was more educational, but I got a request to talk about some relationship stuff because we did that in a minute. So
I saw it.
See if I
please. I saw that.
So we're gonna give out some bad relationship information. You can take it from 3 guys who are in relationships, and as Ice-T said, we can't tell you about how to run your relationship. We can tell you how ours work. That's it. Joe can tell you what worked with his wife. That's all he can tell you. Mo can tell you what worked with his wife. I done had 3. I can tell you what worked with the 3 of them, and mine was only part-time. At least they had extended wives. I ain't
practice.
You come. What you gonna come on for, Mark? You trying to be a house? You trying to be a house husband? We ain't doing no. When I do the house husband show, Mark, we're gonna have you, and we're gonna put you on the hot seat, Mark. Yeah, we're gonna.
Hey, yeah. and so also what we're gonna do, because this show, we got integrity on this show, we're gonna keep tracking that target stock. All right, we're gonna keep tracking that. DVP gonna bring it up whenever you want to. I'm gonna do an analysis on it, and we're gonna see what happened because y'all need to know how this stuff works. You know what I mean? Or doesn't work, right? These little
microwave superheroes who ain't got no power.
All right, gentlemen.
Joe, you ain't got no book for us to read?
Oh man, I just told you a couple of them, but let me give you.
Well, you got to say it in the book section, though. You be giving out so much knowledge; it's hard to keep up. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you one right now.
You ain't got no book about the Borg, so resistance is futile.
Here's one: Lawless: How the Supreme Court runs on conservative grievance, French theories, and bad vibes.
And I just got one request for you, Joe. Can we start picking some books that's on Kindle so I can get them for free?
You can get them all on for free. Go to the library. Oops, is that a bad word to you?
Hey man, they gonna want my real name. Everybody got that kind of time.
Hey anyway, man, use your other government.
Man, the way people just be dropping information for no reason. Mo, you got anything useful you want to say before I cut people off?
Oh no, man. I said we're gonna keep watching this target stock because we want to make sure, we want to see if our efforts or lack thereof makes a difference. That way we can know how to proceed going forward. And I'm looking forward to that segment you just talked about, DVP. I want to, I'm here to help give knowledge and listen and try to help somebody through a situation.
And you know what, Mo? Let me say this. In 2 weeks, Joe, what's your schedule like in 2 weeks?
I don't know.
Okay, Joe, free your schedule up.
Let me check with my wife. Diane, what's my schedule?
Let me just talk to her so I can tell her. In 2 weeks, Mo, what I want you to do is send me and Joe some suspect cases where there are questions. We're gonna make sure we do. We're gonna make sure we do at least an hour on Law and Order and what was right, what was wrong, and how that goes. Because I had somebody been asking me about that, and they said something we ain't done it yet.
Hey, DVP, do it. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
You know what we need to look at? The young boy they just found at Delta State. That's what we need to look at.
All right, well, let Mo know. We just gonna answer questions.
So and let's do this also. Let's DVP make that plea to people who are watching the show or will watch the show. If you got something, a case you want analyzed, send the information to DVP. He'll get it to me, and we'll queue it up and have an analysis online.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually log on and I'm gonna make some posts on the page and
Do that, yeah.
so we can get that in.
All right.
All right, brothers.
Y'all know it is. Until next week, I ain't finished my drink because y'all was hilarious. Till next week, peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. I ain't finna drink all this. And we out. Misfits.